Cecilia, Regina, and me were mutuals on multiple accounts, and personally I was honored when she followed me because she is absolutely brilliant. She breaks down complex issues around racism and misogyny in a way that I had never heard before. So when Flawed Villain popped up on my For You page, saying the exact same thing that I've seen women of color saying, I felt no need to follow the woman, because why would I follow the parrot when I can just watch the original? Cecilia, YV Edit, Mel Hamlet, Shonda, Shira, all these women, Kira, all these women have been saying these things for a long time. They all have large followings, and all of their followings are based off of merit and original thought. And the thing is, for majority of these women being women of color, they have had to operate under these systems and knew what these systems were, being white supremacy and misogyny, prior to most people who are white ever even knowing or acknowledging that the system existed. They had to. Not YV Edit, because she's also white, but she understands these systems just as well. They've had to know these systems for so long in order to survive underneath these systems. And that's why the conversations that they have on this app are so insightful, because a lot of the times white women have never had to have these thoughts or never had the language, because it's not a conversation that happens with white women. And I just have a really hard time understanding how anyone who's a white content creator and a woman who talks about these issues can't just acknowledge that they've taken inspiration and or learned from these women. And I was like, the only way that I can see this being a thing where they're not willing to acknowledge, that's all they have to do is acknowledge, is because of racism. And then someone made a compilation of all the racist takes and being an Orange Cheeto supporter. Referring to Cecilia as Regina George and saying she films voiceovers in her cloak closet and thinking that you're not upholding the very systems that you're talking about. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Because this is not something that we haven't seen literally throughout history, is white women as well as white men taking the credit, taking the knowledge, taking the experience of BIPOC and passing it off as their own. You can add in your anecdotal stories, and that's fine. This is content creation. Spreading ideas like this is great. It's really not that hard to acknowledge where you got them from. Because I talk a lot about Indigenous rights and decolonization, and because my background is Indigenous. But you can go through my content and see me saying that a lot of this is coming from Black women because they are light years ahead in this conversation. And you are upholding the very system that allows this hierarchy of white supremacy as well as misogyny. If you go and watch YV Edit's content, if you go watch Mel Hamlet's content, they are constantly giving credit where credit is due. It's really not that hard. And maybe we can acknowledge, because when I saw Cecilia making the content she was making, having had my own account at like 70,000 and receiving unaliving threat, having someone trying to dox me, because these topics make so many people upset, I understood exactly why she was doing faceless content. And if you don't understand why a Black woman in America might not want her face being blasted out while she talks about these systems, I fear you don't understand. And once again, are just parroting. And this is what people refer to as white woman feminism, is when you don't look beyond your own whiteness. You can't acknowledge, like, even myself, okay, as a biracial person who's white presenting, understand that my content comes off different because I'm not a visible minority. And the content simply just gets pushed different and shared different, and the message gets received differently. And if you've only deconstructed misogyny, but not white supremacy, then you are most likely just parroting white women feminism.